I still remember that afternoon like it happened 5 minutes ago. The way the laughter from the backyard barbecue faded as I climbed the stairs to my bedroom. We'd just wrapped up the family gathering at our house, burgers on the grill, kids running around, everyone acting like we were one big happy unit. I needed a sweater because the evening chill was setting in early, and that's when I noticed the safe in my closet wasn't fully closed. My S-James lock twisted. I knelt down, spun the dial with shaking hands, and pulled it open. Empty. My diamond necklace and earrings were gone. The ones I'd bought myself after years of grinding through 2 jobs worth over 50 grand. They weren't some fancy heirlooms. They were my safety net. Proof that I'd clawed my way out of the mess Liam and I started in. Welcome to Martha's Stories. I share new life stories here every day, and I'd really appreciate it if you hit subscribe and liked my video. Drop a comment down below telling me where you're watching from and what time it is for you, right? Now, I read every single comment, and it helps me to know I'm not alone in this. "Everything okay up there, Leora?" Liam called from downstairs, his voice carrying over the clatter of dishes being cleared. I froze, staring at the empty velvet box inside the safe. "Yeah, just grabbing something," I yelled back, trying to keep my tone steady. But inside, panic surged through me like ice water. Those diamonds meant everything. Back when Liam and I got married young, we scraped by on nothing. Ramen dinners, dodging rent hikes, his layoff hitting us hard while I worked retail and waitress to keep us afloat. His parents always favored his brother, James, bailing him out with cash and cars, leaving us to fend for ourselves. I remember crying in the kitchen one night after a medical bill for our daughter's ear infection wiped us out. "We'll make it," Liam had said, hugging me tight. "You're the strong one." Those diamonds? I saved for them bit by bit. Buying them 5 years ago as a symbol that I could stand on my own if things went south again. Security in a box, my independence sparkling back at me. I slammed the safe shut and grabbed my phone, pulling up the security app we'd installed after that break-in scare last summer. My fingers trembled as I scrolled through the footage from earlier. There, someone slipping upstairs while the rest of us were outside. The angle from the hallway camera was off, catching only a side profile, face half shadowed by a baseball cap. But I knew that walk, that hurried glance over the shoulder. Kendra, James's wife, my sister-in-law. She ducked into our bedroom, and the timestamp flickered weirdly, like a glitch from the Wi-Fi dip we had during the storm last week. No clear shot of her hands or the jewelry, just her emerging a minute later, purse clutched a little tighter. It wasn't ironclad proof, nothing I could wave in front of the family without them saying it was a mistake, or that I was seeing things, but in my gut I knew. She'd been in there, and now my diamonds were gone. "Leora, come help with the cleanup." Kendra's voice floated up from the yard, cheerful as ever, like she hadn't just violated everything. I stood there, phone in hand, replaying the clip. How did she even know about the safe? We'd never talked about it. Liam must have mentioned it in passing at some family dinner, but still. Betrayal hit me hard like a punch to the chest. This wasn't a stranger breaking in. This was Kendra, who'd sat at my table, complained about her tough life while flashing her latest online shopping hauls. I'd loaned her money once when James lost his job, even though we were tight ourselves. And now this? Humiliation burned through me. I felt like a fool for trusting her, for opening my home. Those diamonds weren't just money. They were my shield against the favoritism that always left us short. Liam's parents doted on James and Kendra, vacations paid for. While we got lectures on pulling ourselves up, I'd built that security myself and she'd snatched it away. I slipped the phone into my pocket and headed back down, forcing a smile as I joined the group. "Pass me those plates," I said to Kendra, our eyes meeting for a split second. She grinned back, oblivious or pretending to be. "Great party, right? We should do this more often." Her words grated on me, but I nodded, stacking the dishes. Inside, rage boiled. I wanted to grab her arm, demand answers. But what if I was wrong? The footage was fuzzy. Accusing her now would blow up the family. Liam's mom would side with James, like always, calling me dramatic. "Let's not make waves," Liam would say, hating conflict. So I swallowed it, the violation twisting deeper. Trust shattered, my hard-earned independence stolen, and no way to call her out without proof that stuck. I helped clear the table, laughing at jokes that weren't funny, all while the injustice festered. Alone with this secret, I felt the weight of it pressing down. No quick fix, just me stewing in the betrayal. That night, after everyone left, I sat on the edge of our bed, staring at the closet. Liam came in, towel around his neck from the shower. "You seem off." "What's going on?" he asked, sitting beside me. I hesitated. The words caught in my throat. "Just tired from the day," I lied, not ready to drag him into it yet. He kissed my forehead. "Get some rest. Love you." As he turned out the light, I lay there wide awake, replaying the footage in my mind. The humiliation gnawed at me, wronged in my own home, by family. Part of me screamed to march over to Kendra's and confront her, but fear held me back. Tearing the family apart over something I couldn't fully prove? No, not yet. Rage simmered, mixed with that restraint, leaving me in this limbo of injustice. No immediate way out, just the raw sting of it all. The days after the barbecue dragged on, each one heavier than the last. I kept replaying that fuzzy footage in my head, trying to convince myself it wasn't Kendra. But deep down, I knew. Liam went back to work, oblivious, while I stayed home with the kids, pretending everything was normal. But nothing felt right. I'd catch myself staring at the empty safe, the violation still fresh, like an open wound. Those diamonds had been my anchor through all the rough patches, Liam's job losses, the favoritism from his parents that always left us scraping by. Now, with them gone, I felt unmoored, questioning every family interaction. A week later, we had another family dinner at Liam's parents' house. I didn't want to go, but skipping it would raise questions. As we pulled up, I spotted Kendra's car in the driveway, shiny and new-looking. "When did they get that washed?" I muttered to Liam. He shrugged. "Probably just cleaned it." Inside, the house smelled like roasted chicken and garlic. Everyone gathered around the table. Kendra was there, chatting with Liam's mom, laughing a bit too loud. She glanced at me when I walked in, but her smile didn't reach her eyes. "Hey, Leora, good to see you," she said, hugging me quickly, her grip loose. We sat down to eat, and I tried to act casual. Liam's dad carved the chicken, passing plates around. "So, Kendra, how's that new job treating James?" I asked, keeping my voice light. She poked at her food. "Oh, it's fine. Steady pay, you know." But then she flashed her wrist, showing off a new watch that gleamed under the lights. "Got this little treat for myself," she added, twisting it so everyone could see. Liam's mom oohed. "That's beautiful. Where'd you get it?" Kendra waved it off. "Just a sale at the mall, nothing big." I felt a knot tighten in my S. Jamesach. That watch looked expensive, not some discount find. We hadn't seen them splurge like that before. James's job was okay, but not flashy. "Looks pricey," I said, forcing a smile. "Must be nice to have extra cash lying around." Kendra met my eyes for a second, then looked away. "Yeah, well, we've been saving." The conversation shifted to the kids, but I couldn't focus. She avoided sitting next to me, scooting her chair closer to James instead. Every time I tried to make small talk, she'd give short answers like, "Yep," or "Not really," then turn to someone else. After dinner, we moved to the living room for coffee. The kids played in the corner, and Liam chatted with his brother about sports. I cornered Kendra by the dessert table, picking up a cookie. "You've been quiet around me lately," I said softly. "Everything okay?" She sipped her coffee, not looking up. "Just busy, Leora, work stuff." But her hand trembled a little on the cup. "Saw you got new earrings, too," I noted, nodding at the small studs in her ears. "They weren't my diamonds, but they were new." "Another sale?" She touched her ear. "Gift from James." "Why the questions?" I leaned in closer. "Just noticing things. You seem different." Kendra set her cup down a bit too hard. "Different how? I'm the same as always." Her tone sharpened and Liam's mom glanced over. "Girls, pie's ready," she called, breaking the moment. Kendra grabbed a slice and walked away, joining James on the couch. I stood there, cookie crumbling in my hand, frustration building. She was dodging me, and that smug little twist to her mouth when she thought no one was looking. It screamed she thought she'd gotten away with something. The drive home was quiet at first. Liam turned on the radio, but I switched it off. "Did you notice Kendra acting weird?" I asked him. He kept his eyes on the road. "Weird how?" "Avoiding me, showing off new stuff." "That watch, the earrings, where's the money coming from?" Liam sighed. "Maybe they got a bonus or something. Don't read into it." But I couldn't let it go. It's suspicious right after the barbecue. He glanced at me. "You think she took the diamonds? Come on, Leora. The footage was blurry. Could have been anyone." I crossed my arms. It was her walk, her build. And now, this sudden spending? Liam shook his head. "We can't accuse without proof. It'll cause a rift." His words stung, but he was right. The family was already lopsided, with his parents always backing James. If I pushed too hard now, I'd look paranoid. That night, I scrolled through social media in bed, and there it was. Kendra's post from a few days ago, a photo of her in a new dress. Caption, treating myself, blessed. Comments from friends asking where she got it, and her reply, just came into some luck. Luck? My blood boiled. Those could be my diamonds funding her luck. The next family event was a kid's birthday party at the park 2 weeks later. I showed up with cupcakes, spotting Kendra across the picnic area. She waved but stayed by the grill flipping burgers. Help yourself, she called, not coming over. I walked up anyway. Nice dress, I said, eyeing the fabric. It looked designer. Another treat? She flipped a burger. Yeah, clearance rack. But her eyes darted away again. James joined us, slapping Liam on the back. Hey bro, beer's in the cooler. As the guys wandered off, Kendra busied herself with plates. We should catch up sometime, I tried. Sure, sometime, she muttered, handing a plate to a kid. Frustration mounted with every dodge. At home later, I vented to Liam in the kitchen while doing dishes. She's avoiding me on purpose. And all these new gadgets, did you see her phone case? Brand new. He dried a plate. Maybe they're doing better financially, let it go. I can't, I snapped. It's too coincidental. He set the plate down. What do you want to do? Confront her without evidence? The footage isn't clear enough. I rinsed a glass harder than needed. I know it's her. That smug look, she thinks she's untouchable. Over the next few days, texts from Kendra were short, excuses piling up. Can't make lunch, busy. Or rain check on coffee. Her social media kept updating with little luxuries, a new bag, fancy dinner out. Each post twisted the knife deeper. I felt like I was watching her spend my security, my hard-earned independence. While she paraded it around, the betrayal simmered, turning to quiet rage. But without solid proof, I was stuck, frustration building like a storm cloud. Kendra's gradual slip-ups and that underlying smugness kept me hooked, irritated at her unpunished freedom. One evening, I called my best friend, Sarah, for advice. It's eating me up, I told her over the phone. She's acting guilty, but I can't prove it. Sarah listened. Gather more clues before you blow it up. Family stuff is tricky. I nodded to myself. Yeah, but seeing her flaunt it, it's maddening. The call ended and I sat in the dark living room, Liam already asleep upstairs. Kendra's behavior was emerging clearer, her avoidance and excuses screaming guilt. The tension gripped me, building irritation that she might actually get away with it. I needed to watch closer, wait for her to slip more. A month after the barbecue, things got worse in ways I never expected. I was still watching Kendra from afar, noting her dodges and new buys, but she flipped the script on me. It started with a phone call from Liam's mom one evening while I was cooking dinner. Leora, honey, is everything all right over there? She asked, her voice sweet but probing. I stirred the pasta sauce. Yeah, why? She hesitated. Well, Kendra mentioned you're acting a bit off lately, paranoid about things going missing. Said you accused her of something at the last dinner. I froze, spoon in hand. What? I didn't accuse her outright. Liam's mom sighed. She told me you were grilling her about her watch and clothes. Made it sound like you're jealous or stingy with your stuff. You know, after all we've done for you two. The words hit like a slap. Stingy? We'd hosted half the family events, covered gifts when they couldn't. I set the spoon down. That's not what happened. She's twisting it. But she cut in. Just talk it out, dear. Family shouldn't fight over little things. I hung up, my face hot. Liam walked in from work, dropping his keys on the counter. Who was that? He asked, grabbing a beer from the fridge. Your mom. Kendra's spreading rumors that I'm paranoid and stingy. He popped the cap. Come on, probably a misunderstanding. I crossed my arms. No, it's deliberate. She's deflecting because she knows I'm onto her. Liam took a sip. Onto what? That blurry footage? Let it go before it blows up. The next day, I got a text from my sister-in-law on the other side, Aunt Rita. Heard you're having trust issues with Kendra. Don't let money come between family. I stared at the screen. Trust issues. Kendra was planting seeds everywhere. I replied, it's more than that, but she didn't respond. At work that afternoon, I couldn't focus, replaying the calls in my head. The isolation crept in, like walls closing. These were people I'd supported through tough times, loans to James when he was unemployed, babysitting their kids. Now they saw me as the problem. That weekend, we had a family brunch at a local diner. I dreaded it, but Liam insisted. We can't hide, he said in the car. As we walked in, heads turned. Kendra was already there, holding court at the big table with James, Liam's parents, and a couple cousins. She smiled wide when she saw me. Leora, glad you made it. Coffee? I nodded, sitting across from her. The chatter started light, weather, kids' school, but I felt the undercurrent. Halfway through pancakes, Liam's dad leaned in. "So, Leora, what's this about missing jewelry? Kendra said you think someone in the family took it." My fork paused. "I didn't say that to everyone." Kendra chimed in, buttering her toast casually. "Well, you implied it when you questioned my new stuff. Like I'm not allowed nice things because we've had hard times." Her voice dripped with fake hurt. James nodded. "Yeah, we've struggled more than you guys. Remember when Mom and Dad helped us with the house payment? Kendra feels entitled sometimes, but it's not theft." "Entitled?" I set my fork down. "Hard times don't justify taking what's mine. Those diamonds were my security after our struggles, Liam's layoffs, the bills piling up while your parents bailed you out every time." Kendra's eyes narrowed. "See? Paranoid. You act like we're leeches. I've worked hard too, but life hits us differently." Liam's mom patted Kendra's hand. "Let's not argue. Leora, maybe you misplaced them." No need to point fingers. The table went quiet, cousins exchanging looks. I felt the shift, eyes on me like I was the villain. "I'm not pointing without reason," I said quietly. Kendra leaned back, smirking. "Reason? Like that glitchy camera. Sounds stingy to me. Hoarding your security while we scrape by." "Hoarding?" Rage bubbled up. "Those diamonds were from my overtime shifts, skipping lunches to save. But arguing now would make me look worse." After brunch in the parking lot, Liam pulled me aside. "You see, they're turning on you because you're pushing." I shook my head. "She's manipulating them with lies, claiming entitlement to justify her crap." He rubbed his temples. "Drop it for now. We need family peace." But peace? It felt like betrayal layered on betrayal. Kendra's brazen words echoed, her self-serving excuses painting her as the victim. I drove home alone, letting Liam ride with his parents, tears blurring the road. Later that week, more texts rolled in. A cousin. "Kendra said you're being unfair. Hope you sort it." Even my own brother messaged, hearing through the grapevine. "Family drama, stay strong." Isolation hit hard. I'd always been the glue, hosting, helping. Now, whispers labeled me paranoid. At dinner with Liam and the kids, I pushed food around my plate. "Mom, why's Aunt Kendra mad?" my daughter asked. I forced a smile. "Grown-up stuff, sweetie." But inside, the pain intensified, emotional walls cracking. One night, I overheard Liam on the phone with James. "Yeah, Leora's stressed about the diamonds. Kendra's right, might be misplaced." I walked in. "Misplaced? You know the footage shows her." He hung up quickly. "James says Kendra's hurt by your accusations. She's telling everyone you're stingy because you won't share." "Share? Those were mine." I snapped. "She's a liar, twisting her hardships to excuse theft." Liam sighed. "Her life's been rough, bad jobs, health issues. Cut her slack." No slack for me, though. Kendra's wickedness shone through her manipulations, rallying the family against me. I felt alone, betrayed deeper than the theft itself. At a baby shower for a relative the following Saturday, she cornered me in the kitchen. "Leora, truce? I get why you're upset, but accusing me? We've had it harder. You and Liam always land on your feet." Her tone was condescending, like my struggles didn't count. "Harder doesn't mean steal," I whispered. She laughed softly. "Steal? Prove it. Otherwise, stop spreading paranoia." She walked out, leaving me fuming. The rumors spread wider. Even neighbors asked Liam if I was okay. Emotional pain gnawed at me, sleep gone, appetite faded. Kendra's brazen lies and justifications made her despicable, self-serving to the core. I wanted revenge to make her pay for this isolation. The conflict escalated, pushing me toward breaking point, rooting deep for justice. 2 months after the barbecue, the family pressure hit me like a freight train, and I could barely keep my head above water. I was folding laundry in the living room when Liam came in from work, his face tense as he held up his phone. "Mom just texted. They want us over James Sorrow to talk about the cabin and the bonds from Grandpa." I set down the shirt I was holding. "Talk? What's there to talk about? The will's been settled for years. Equal shares between you and James." Liam sighed and sank into the couch. "James and Kendra are pushing for a transfer. Say we should sign over more to them since they're struggling." Struggling? With Kendra's new clothes and gadgets popping up everywhere, I felt my Jamesok knot uptight. The next afternoon, we drove to Liam's parents' house, the silence in the car thick with unspoken arguments. "Just hear them out," Liam said as we pulled into the driveway. "No need to fight right away." I nodded, but inside frustration boiled. Kendra's car was there, looking freshly detailed, and as we walked in, she greeted us at the door with a calm smile. "Hey guys, come on in, coffee's ready." The living room felt smaller than usual, with Liam's parents on the sofa, James next to them, and Aunt Rita dialing in on speakerphone. Kendra handed me a mug, her nails freshly manicured. "We appreciate you coming," she said smoothly. "This is about making things fair for everyone." Liam's dad started it off, clearing his throat. "Look, the cabin's joint-owned now, but James lives closer. He could maintain it better if it was in his name. And the savings bonds, we could redistribute those too, give them a bigger cut." I glanced at Liam, waiting for him to push back, but he just shifted in his seat. Kendra leaned forward, her voice steady and reasonable. "We've had a rough go, Leora. James's job isn't stable, and with the kids' expenses, we need more security. You and Liam are doing okay. Your house, the college fund. It wouldn't hurt to sign a quitclaim on the cabin and agree to a family settlement for the bonds." Settlement? That sounded like legal jargon for giving in. I set my mug down. "The will split it equal. Why change that now?" James jumped in, nodding at Kendra. "Because life isn't equal. Mom and Dad helped us more back then, but now we need it. If you don't sign, it'll just cause more tension." Liam's mom patted James's hand. "Exactly. We've heard about the rumors, Leora, how you're paranoid about missing things. Don't let that make you selfish. Kendra's been through hardships. She deserves a break." Selfish? The word stung like salt in a cut. I'd worked my ass off for our stability, while Kendra paraded her sudden breaks. I turned to Liam. "You can't seriously consider this." He rubbed his neck. "It's not ideal, but fighting could cost us. Lawyer fees add up." Kendra sipped her coffee, looking composed. "We've talked to a lawyer already. He can draft a transfer agreement, quitclaim for the cabin, redistribution of the bonds. It's simple if we all agree. Otherwise, we might have to go to mediation, and that gets expensive." Her eyes met mine, calm and unyielding. "We've come into a bit more money lately, so we can afford to push if needed. But family shouldn't have to. Come into money?" My mind flashed to the diamonds, that fuzzy footage of her in my room. She must have sold them, using the cash to play the victim card harder. But without real proof, saying it out loud would make me sound crazier. I gripped the armrest. This feels like coercion. The assets are our security too. The bonds for the kids' college, the cabin for vacations. Liam's dad shook his head. "Security? You two have jobs. James and Kendra have had it harder. Layoffs, bills piling up. Sign the papers and we'll all stay close. Refuse and, well, you might not be welcome at holidays anymore." The threat hung there heavy. Aunt Rita's voice crackled over the phone. "I agree. Kendra explained everything. Don't be stingy, Leora." Stingy, paranoid. The labels from those rumors stuck to me like glue, isolating me further. Liam finally spoke up. "We'll think about it." But his tone was weak, like he was already leaning their way for peace. We left soon after, the drive home even quieter. "They're ganging up," I said, staring out the window. Liam kept his eyes on the road. "Mom called me earlier, said if we don't sign, they'll blame us for splitting the family. James is pressuring me too, says Kendra's stressed from all this." "Stressed?" She looked fine, confident even. I crossed my arms. "And you're okay with that? Giving away our share?" He sighed. "I don't want to lose everyone. The lawyer can explain the costs. Maybe it's not worth the battle." Battle. Like I was the one starting it. At home, I paced the kitchen while the kids did homework upstairs. Those bonds in the cabin weren't huge, but they were our backup, extra for emergencies. Like when Liam got laid off before. Now slipping away because Kendra's hardships made her entitled to more. A few days later, the lawyer emailed a draft agreement. Liam read it at the table. "Quitclaim deed for the cabin to James. Bonds reassigned 60-40 their favor. Sign, and it's done." I scanned the pages, my hands shaking. "This isn't fair. We're losing thousands." He set it down. "Fighting means court fees, time off work. Mom's already hinting at cutting us out of gatherings. Cutting us out." The isolation hit harder. Texts from cousins dried up, invitations stopped. Even my brother-in-law's wife messaged, "Heard about the assets. Hope you do the right thing." Right thing? Kendra's sympathy tour had everyone convinced I was the obstacle. I called Sarah for coffee, venting at her kitchen table. They're painting me as selfish, using those rumors. And Kendra's flashing new stuff like it's nothing. Sarah stirred her drink. "Sounds like she's got the family wrapped. Without proof on the diamonds, you're stuck defending." Stuck. I nodded, the powerlessness sinking in deeper. Back home, Kendra texted, "Lunch to discuss? The agreement's ready." I met her at a diner, hoping for a crack in her armor. She showed up in a new scarf, ordering salad. "Look, Leora, we've struggled more. The transfer evens it out. Sign and no hard feelings." Her tone was moral, justified. "Struggled? You've been spending like crazy." She smiled faintly. "Side gigs pay off. Don't be paranoid, it's not a good look." She slid the draft across. "Think about it." I left without eating, humiliation burning. At dinner, Liam pushed the papers toward me. "Let's just sign, keep the peace." I pushed them back. "Peace? They're taking our future." He stood up. "Refusing makes you the bad guy. Everyone's saying it." Everyone. The moral injustice crushed me, wronged, isolated, painted as the problem. I sat alone in the bedroom later, staring at the empty safe spot. Assets threatened, family against me, no way out without fighting dirty. But staying passive, that would break us completely. I couldn't let this go on. That evening, after leaving the diner, I sat in my car in the parking lot for a good 20 minutes, staring at the dashboard. Kendra's words echoed in my head, her casual mention of side gigs, that smug smile as she pushed the papers toward me. The humiliation from the family meeting still burned, everyone labeling me selfish while she played the victim with her hardships. I wiped my eyes, the pressure of it all crashing down harder than ever. But something shifted right there in the quiet of the car. Passivity wasn't working. It was letting her win everything, our assets, our family's trust, even my peace of mind. No more. I took a deep breath and started the engine, heading home with a new clarity forming. When I walked through the door, Liam was in the living room, flipping through channels on the TV. "How'd lunch go?" he asked, muting the sound and turning to me. I dropped my bag on the couch and sat down next to him. Kendra's still pushing the transfer, acting like it's a done deal. "But I'm not signing anything yet." He nodded slowly. "Good. I told Mom we're holding off. This whole thing feels off." I looked at him. "Off how? Like her sudden money?" Liam shrugged. "Maybe, but digging into it, that could make things worse." I leaned back. "Worse than losing the cabin and bonds? We need to watch her closer, see what's really going on." He rubbed his temples. "As long as it's not escalating. I want peace, Leora." The kids came bounding down the stairs then, asking about dinner. "Pizza tonight?" my daughter piped up, hugging my leg. I forced a smile and ruffled her hair. "Sure, sweetie, go pick out toppings." Man, as they scampered to the kitchen, I followed Liam in there, lowering my voice. "Liam, if we call the police on the diamonds, it'll destroy everything. Your family would implode, James defending her, your parents taking sides. You'd be torn apart in the middle. And the kids? They'd hear all the ugly details at school or from cousins." He opened the fridge, pulling out drinks. "I know, no cops. But what then?" I paused, the decision solidifying. "We handle it quietly. I handle it. No public blow-ups, just smart moves to expose her without wrecking us all." After dinner with the kids in bed, I retreated to the office and pulled out my phone. Kendra's social media was public, so I scrolled through her recent posts again, this time with purpose. There was that photo from a week after the barbecue, her at a coffee shop downtown. Caption, "Quick stop before errands." The timestamp was midday, same time she'd claimed to be at work. Nothing solid, but it nagged at me. Her stories didn't always line up. Another post showed her with a new bag, tagged at a mall 2 towns over, location pinned. "Treating myself after a long day," it read. Long day doing what? I grabbed a notebook from the drawer and started jotting notes, dates, places. Little inconsistencies like her complaining about being broke one month, then flashing luxuries the next. My phone buzzed with a text from Kendra. "Hey, thought about the agreement? Life's moving on over here. James is already planning cabin renos." I stared at it, her triumph jumping off the screen. She thought I was beaten, cornered into signing. "Not yet," I texted back simply, then set the phone down. Controlled anger simmered, but it fueled me now instead of drowning me. I recalled how she'd avoided my eyes at the last family dinner, her quick excuses when I asked about her schedule. Overconfidence like that, it was a weakness, making her sloppy. If I watched patiently, those tells would add up. The next morning, I called Sarah while driving to work. "I need to talk this through," I said as she picked up. "Kendra's got everyone thinking she's the underdog, but I'm done reacting emotionally." Sarah's voice came through the speaker. "Finally, what's the plan?" I merged onto the highway. No police, that'd tear the family apart forever. Kids in the crossfire, Liam stuck choosing sides. Instead, I'm observing her habits, noting patterns. Like her social posts don't match her alibis sometimes. Sarah hummed thoughtfully. Smart. Patience is key. Don't rush. Build it slow so when you strike, it's airtight. I nodded to myself. Exactly. You're my sounding board on this. Help me stay level-headed. We chatted for a bit longer, her encouraging me to document everything without jumping to conclusions. One ambiguous clue at a time, she said. Don't let anger cloud it. I agreed and hung up as I pulled into the parking lot at work. Throughout the day, my mind kept cataloging Kendra's routine gym check-ins on Tuesdays, coffee runs Wednesdays, always public on her stories. I even drove past that pinned mall on my lunch break, just glancing from the car, seeing the stores she might frequent. Nothing illegal, just observing what was out there for anyone to see. It felt empowering, this quiet shift. Back home that evening, Liam and I sat on the porch after the kids' bedtime. You seem calmer, he noted, handing me a glass of wine. I took a sip. I am. Realized raging won't fix it, but watching Kendra's moves? That might. He raised an eyebrow. Watching how? Public stuff, social media, her patterns. She's overconfident thinking we're done fighting. Liam thought it over. As long as it's not invasive. I told James we're stalling on the papers. I clinked my glass to his. Good, we hold the line. He smiled faintly. You're tougher than she knows. Kendra texted again later. Don't drag this out, Leora. We're moving forward regardless. I read it in bed, Liam asleep beside me. Her smugness grated, but it hardened my resolve. She underestimated me, believing her triumphs were secure. Frustration bubbled, but I channeled it. No more weakness. I'd expose her, but on my terms, quietly and intelligently. A couple of days after my talk with Sarah on the highway, I decided to start small, just testing the waters without making any waves. I was in the kitchen that morning, packing lunches for the kids, when Liam came down for coffee. You look focused, he said, pouring a cup and leaning against the counter. I glanced up, just thinking about Kendra's patterns, like how her stories don't always add up. He stirred his coffee slowly. Something feels off, yeah. But let's not jump to conclusions. Family peace, remember? I nodded, but inside, my resolve hardened. I couldn't confront yet, but observing, that I could do. After dropping the kids at school, I called Sarah from the car. Hey, can we meet for coffee this afternoon? I need a reality check on this plan. She agreed right away. Sure, the usual spot, 2 o'clock? I pulled into work, my mind racing through Kendra's social posts, the gym check-ins that didn't match her work excuses, the vague mentions of errands right after the barbecue. It wasn't much, but it built my suspicion. At lunch, I scrolled her profile again, noting a post from last week. Errands done. Feeling productive. Timestamped the day she'd told me she was homesick. Deniable, sure. She could say flexible hours, but it chipped at her story. We met at the coffee shop downtown, grabbing a table in the back. Sarah slid into the seat across from me, setting down her latte. Okay, spill. What's the first move? I leaned in, keeping my voice low. I'm not pushing hard, just watching for inconsistencies. Like her posts not lining up with what she says. Sarah nodded thoughtfully. Smart. Document it all, timestamps, screenshots. But don't confront. Let her slip on her own. I pulled out my phone. Already started a note file. What if I record a casual chat? Legal here if I'm part of it. She sipped her drink. Yeah, but keep it natural, no interrogating. We talked strategy for a bit, her reminding me to stay patient. You're shifting things slowly, don't rush and scare her off. As we wrapped up, my phone buzzed. A text from Kendra. Family dinner at Mom's Friday? Need to discuss those papers. I showed Sarah. See, still pushing. She frowned. Confident as ever. Reply casual. Set up a call, maybe. I texted back. Sure, sounds good. Call later? Kendra replied quick. James Oro evening after work. I pocketed the phone, a mix of nerves and hope stirring. This could be my chance for that one lead, a conversation where she contradicts herself. Sarah squeezed my arm. You're closer than before, just breathe. That night, over dinner with Liam and the kids, I kept it light, laughing at their school stories. Mom, you seem happier, my daughter said, passing the veggies. I smiled. Just had a good day, sweetie. Liam caught my eye across the table. Any updates on, I waited till the kids cleared plates. Setting up a call with Kendra Jamesoro. Might record it, see if she slips. He set down his fork. Record? That's sneaky. I crossed my arms. It's legal and I'm in the convo. Something feels off, like you said. He sighed. Okay, but if it's nothing, we drop it. I don't want more drama. I agreed, but deep down, I knew this was the shift I needed, fragile but real. The next evening, after the kids' homework, I sat in the living room with my phone on speaker for the call, voice memo running discreetly since it was just us talking. Kendra picked up on the second ring. Hey, Leora, about dinner, Mom wants everyone there to chat assets. Her voice was smooth, controlling as always. I kept it neutral. Yeah, we'll come. How's your week been? Busy with work? She paused slightly. Oh, you know, the usual grind. Meetings all day yesterday. Yesterday, the day of her midday gym post. Meetings? Thought you mentioned being flexible lately. Kendra laughed lightly. Flexible? Nah, stuck in the office. Why? I probed gently. Just remembered you posting about the gym around noon. Must have squeezed it in. There was a beat of silence. Then she recovered. Oh, that. Quick lunch break workout. No big deal. But her tone sharpened a touch, defensive. You checking my posts now? Paranoid much? I played it off. Not checking, just saw it scroll by. Anyway, about the papers, we're still reviewing. Kendra pushed back. Reviewing? Come on, sign and let's move on. James has got ideas for the cabin. It's our turn for some security. Security with my diamonds funding it, I bet. We'll talk at dinner, I said. She ended with, fine, but don't drag it. Life's good over here. I stopped the recording, replaying it quietly. There it was, the contradiction on her schedule, that defensive snap. Incomplete, sure. She explained it away as a break, but it didn't sit right, especially with her posts always perfect otherwise. Liam walked in from the kitchen. How'd it go? I hit play on the key part. Listen, gym post midday, but she says office all day. He frowned. Off, yeah, but could be true. Lunch breaks happen. I nodded. True, but it's a slip. Makes me question more. We sat on the couch, the house quiet. This weakens her a bit, I said, if her stories crumble under light questions. Liam rubbed his chin. Not convinced it's theft, but yeah, something's odd. Still, prioritize peace. No accusing yet. I agreed outwardly, but inside, confidence bloomed. This fragile lead shifted the balance slightly, making me feel less powerless. Sarah texted later. Call go okay? I replied. Got a contradiction recorded. Deniable, but it's something. She thumbs upped. Good start. Build slow. Kendra posted that night. Productive day. Moving forward. Unaware, still confident. But I was closer than she thought, though I still needed more to really turn this around. The following day at work, I transcribed the call into my notebook, noting the timestamps. It wasn't enough to expose her, but it chipped at her control, giving me hope. At pickup, the kids chattered about friends, pulling me back to normal life. But as I drove home, Kendra's defensive tone replayed in my mind. Tense, cautious, I couldn't move too fast or she'd clam up. For the first time, though, I felt the power tilting, even if just a little. A week after that recorded call with Kendra, where her story about her day didn't quite match her gym post, I felt the first real spark of control returning to me. I was folding laundry in the bedroom that afternoon, the house quiet with the kids at after-school activities and Liam still at the office. My mind kept turning over ways to nudge her without showing my cards, no big moves. Just something subtle to make her wonder if her secret was as safe as she thought. I decided on careful words, neutral phrases dropped in conversation that could hint at patterns being noticed, without accusing a thing. It was deniable, impossible to pin on me, and if she overreacted, that would tell me plenty. I texted Kendra first, keeping it light to set up a casual chat. Hey, free for a quick call later? About the family dinner plans. She replied within minutes. Sure, around 5? Busy day here. Busy, always her go-to excuse. At 5, I sat on the couch with my phone, starting the call without any recording this time. Hi, Leora, she answered, her voice steady as ever. What's up with dinner? I eased in, talking about menu ideas from Liam's mom. Sounds good, Kendra said. James and I can bring dessert. We've been trying new recipes. Keeps things fresh. I nodded to myself, then dropped the first hint casually. That's nice. People notice when routines change like that, you know? Like suddenly having time for extras. There was a brief pause on her end. What do you mean, notice? She asked, her tone still even but a touch sharper. I kept my voice neutral like it was just chit-chat. Oh, nothing specific. Just how family picks up on patterns, new habits, that kind of thing. Kendra laughed lightly, but it sounded forced. Patterns? You're overthinking. Anyway, let's stick to dinner. Mom wants Italian. She changed the topic quick, steering us back to safe ground. Yeah, Italian works, I said, letting her lead for now. We wrapped up the call after a few more minutes, her signing off with, "Talk soon, gotta run." I set the phone down, a quiet tension settling in my chest. Had she caught the subtext? It was vague enough to brush off, but if she was guilty, it might linger. Anxiety nipped at me. Had I pushed too far? But no, it was just words, nothing traceable. The next day, Sarah and I met for a walk in the park after I dropped the kids off. The air was crisp, leaves crunching under our feet as we looped the path. "So, how's the watching going?" she asked, zipping her jacket. I filled her in on the call, the neutral phrases I'd used. Subtle, right? No direct hits. Sarah nodded, her breath fogging slightly. "Yeah, smart. If she's hiding something, that'll make her second guess. I'll keep an eye at the dinner James saw, see if she's off." We talked about her week then, keeping it light, but she promised to text if she spotted any changes in Kendra's behavior. "You're getting your power back," Sarah said as we parted ways. "Just stay controlled." I hugged her goodbye, feeling that small sense of confidence grow, mixed with the fear of tipping my hand too soon. Liam came home that evening, dropping his bag by the door and kissing my cheek. "Smells good in here. What's cooking?" I stirred the chili on the stove. "Your favorite. Kids are doing homework upstairs." He grabbed a beer from the fridge and leaned on the counter. "Talked to James today. Kendra mentioned your call, said you seemed chatty about routines." I kept stirring, my heart skipping a beat. "Oh, what did she say?" Liam shrugged. "Nothing much. Just that family notices stuff. She laughed it off." Laughed it off, but he'd brought it up. "Interesting," I said casually. "She's probably just busy." Liam took a sip. "Yeah, but she did seem a little off on the phone with him later. Tense or something. Anyway, let's not stir drama. Peace is better." I nodded, agreeing outwardly while inside. Quiet tension built. He sensed something but didn't know I'd planted the seed. Friday rolled around and we headed to Liam's parents for the family dinner. The house smelled like garlic and Jamesato sauce as we walked in, everyone gathered in the kitchen. Kendra was there, helping set the table, her smile bright but her eyes checking her phone more than usual. "Hey, Leora," she said, hugging me briefly. "Glad you made it." I returned the hug. "Wouldn't miss it. How's your week wrapping up?" She set down plates. "Fine, the usual grind. People always asking questions, though." Her words hung there, a subtle probe. Liam's mom called us to eat then, and we sat down to pasta and salad. Conversation flowed about the kids' school and James's job, but Kendra shifted in her seat, glancing at her phone screen twice during the meal. "Everything okay?" James asked her quietly. She nodded quick. "Yeah, just a work text. Let's talk about the cabin. Any updates on those papers, Leora?" I took a bite of pasta, keeping my tone even, still reviewing. "You know how details add up? Patterns and everything." Kendra's fork paused midway to her mouth, her eyes flicking to me. "Patterns again? You mentioned that on the call." She said it lightly, but her free hand tapped the table edge. Liam chimed in. "What's this about patterns?" Kendra waved it off. "Nothing, just chit-chat." "Pass the bread?" She changed the topic smoothly, asking about Liam's work project. But through dessert, she stayed more guarded, her laughs shorter, her glances around the table lingering a second longer. Sarah, sitting next to me, texted under the table. "She's checking her phone nonstop. Uneasy, for sure." I pocketed my phone without replying, watching Kendra probe Liam's dad about what people are saying lately. He shrugged. "Not much." "Why?" She smiled. "No reason." We wrapped up the evening with coffee in the living room, the kids playing cards nearby. Kendra excused herself to the kitchen at one point, and I heard her on the phone with someone, her voice low, asking if anything came up. When she came back, her face was composed, but she avoided small talk with me, sticking close to James. Liam noticed on the drive home. Kendra seemed off tonight, distracted. I looked out the window. "Maybe work stress." He nodded. "Probably. Let's keep things peaceful." The kids chattered in the back about the food, pulling me into their conversation. But as we pulled into our driveway, I felt that controlled confidence steady me. She'd acted normal enough, still defensive in her way, but the subtle probes and phone checks showed it. The doubt was creeping in. That night, after tucking the kids in, I sat on the edge of the bed while Liam brushed his teeth. Anxiety flickered. Had my words been too on the nose? But no, they were neutral, just enough to make her wonder. Kendra was intelligent, not panicking openly, but she was starting to watch her own back, guarding her responses, checking for threats. It was my first small win, psychological pressure landing without a trace back to me. Quiet tension hummed inside. I had to keep it controlled. but for the first time, the power felt like it was tilting my way. A few days after that family dinner, where Kendra kept glancing at her phone and steering the conversation away from anything personal, I decided it was time to bring things into the open, but carefully, without unloading everything at once. I was in the kitchen that morning pouring cereal for the kids when Liam walked in tying his tie. "You still thinking about that meeting?" he asked, grabbing an apple from the bowl. I nodded and set the milk down. "Yeah, let's do it tonight at our place. Just us, James, Kendra, and your parents. Tell them it's about the asset transfer. We need to talk before signing anything." Liam bit into the apple and pulled out his phone. "Okay, I'll text James and Mom. Keep it calm, though. No fireworks." The kids shoveled their breakfast, chattering about school projects, and I kissed them goodbye as they headed to the bus. "Be good," I called after them. Alone in the house, I texted Sarah. "Meeting tonight. Can you come early to help with setup? Kids might need watching." She replied fast. "Sure, I'll be there by 6. That afternoon, I sat at the dining table with my notebook, reviewing the notes on Kendra's social media posts and that short clip from our call where her story about her day didn't add up. It wasn't proof of the theft, but it could plant doubt, make everyone question her before we got to the bigger stuff, like the barbecue footage. My James sock twisted with nerves as I imagined the room. Would they believe me? Or would Kendra twist it back on me? Liam's mom called around lunch. "A meeting. What's this about, Leora?" she asked, her voice a mix of curiosity and caution. I kept it steady. "The cabin and bonds, mostly. We need clarity on a few things before moving forward." She sighed. "All right, we'll be there. Kendra mentioned you're fixated on little details lately, but family talks are good." I hung up and paced the kitchen, anxiety building but determination stronger. This wasn't about exploding everything. It was about cracking her story, layer by layer. Sarah showed up early as promised, carrying a bag of snacks for the kids. "You ready for this?" she asked, helping me arrange chairs in the living room. I straightened a cushion. "As ready as I'll get. Just stay in the background, help with the kids if things heat up." She nodded and headed upstairs to set them up with a movie and popcorn. Liam got home next, changing out of his work shirt. "James and Kendra are on their way," he said, kissing my cheek. "Remember, we're discussing, not accusing." I squeezed his hand. "I know, trust me." Liam's parents arrived soon after, his mom handing me a covered dish. "Brought cookies, peace offering," she said with a small smile. His dad patted my shoulder. "Let's sort this out." James and Kendra walked in last, her carrying a bottle of wine like it was any casual visit. "Hey all," Kendra said, her smile bright but her eyes scanning the room. "What's the agenda?" We all sat down in the living room, the air thick with unspoken tension, as Liam poured drinks. I cleared my throat and started calm, folding my hands in my lap. "Thanks for coming. This is about the asset transfer. Liam and I aren't comfortable signing yet because some things aren't lining up." Kendra leaned back on the couch next to James, crossing her legs. "Lining up? Like what? We've been over this." Liam's dad nodded. "Yeah, Leora, spell it out." I pulled out my phone and showed the screen with a screenshot of Kendra's gym post from last week. "For starters, your social media. Posted from the gym midday when you told me you were stuck in meetings all day." Kendra glanced at it and shrugged. "Lunch break. Quick session." "Why does that matter?" James looked at her. "You said you skipped lunch that day for a deadline." She waved it off. "Must have forgotten. It's not a big deal." Liam's mom tilted her head. "It does seem inconsistent, Kendra. Stories keep changing." I nodded and queued up a short snippet from our earlier call, hitting play on speaker. It was just the part where she said office all day before I mentioned the post. And here, on the call, you confirm being in the office nonstop. The room went quiet as it played, Kendra's voice filling the space. She shifted in her seat, her jaw tightening slightly. "So what? I squeezed in a workout." "You're making mountains out of nothing." Liam rubbed his chin. "It does raise questions, Kendra. Why the mismatch?" She turned to him. "Questions? This is Leora's way of stalling the transfer because she's stingy. Always has been." Liam's dad held up a hand. "Easy now, Leora, why bring this up?" I met his eyes steadily. "Because before we hand over family assets, we need clarity. These little things add up patterns that don't make sense." Kendra probed quickly. "Patterns? Who's talking about patterns besides you?" Liam's mom frowned. "If there's more to it, Kendra, just say. We don't want secrets." The conversation circled for a bit, Kendra deflecting back to the assets every time. "Let's focus on the cabin. James needs it more," she said, changing the topic smoothly. But Liam pushed gently. Hold on, these inconsistencies bother me too. It's not just Leora. James glanced between us. Kendra, if there's an explanation... She crossed her arms. There is. I'm busy. Mix-up days sometimes. This is paranoid stuff. Sarah poked her head in from the stairs then, calling softly. Kids are settled. Need anything? I shook my head. We're good, thanks. She nodded and disappeared back up, not joining the circle. Liam's parents exchanged looks, his mom speaking up. Maybe we pause the transfer till everything's clear. No harm in waiting. Kendra's eyes flashed. Pause? Because of a gym post? That's ridiculous. But James sighed. If stories aren't straight, yeah, maybe wait. We talked a little longer, the tension hanging like a cloud, but no one raised their voice. Kendra kept her composure, sipping her wine and steering back to family fairness. But she checked her phone twice more, her free hand tapping her knee. Liam wrapped it up. Let's table the signing for now. We all need clarity. His dad agreed. Sounds right. Good talk, everyone. As they gathered coats, Kendra pulled me aside in the hallway. This isn't over. You're twisting nothing into something. I met her gaze calmly. Just want the truth before we move on. She huffed and left with James, the door clicking shut behind them. Liam's parents hugged us goodbye. We'll sort it, his mom said. But if there's more... I nodded. There might be from the barbecue day, but let's take it step by step. Sarah came down after they left, helping clear cups. She was on edge, topic changes, phone checks. I stacked plates in the sink. Yeah, cracks are showing. Liam joined us, loosening his tie. That went better than expected. Doubts are there now. The kids bounded downstairs. Movie over. What did we miss? My daughter asked, grabbing a cookie. I laughed softly. Grown-up, boring stuff. As we cleaned up, satisfaction settled in, family perception shifting, Kendra's credibility weakening without the full blow. But I held back the footage, teasing it just enough. Pressure building, doubt planted, and the asset transfer paused. Relief mixed with anticipation. They wanted clarity, and I had more to give when the time was right. 2 days after our last family meeting, where Kendra brushed off her timeline mismatches as simple forgetfulness and kept pushing for the asset transfer, I got a text from her in the morning while I was making breakfast for the kids. We need to meet again tonight. Clear this nonsense once and for all, it read. I stared at my phone, the eggs sizzling in the pan behind me. Liam walked in, yawning as he poured coffee. What's that? He asked, nodding at the screen. I showed him. Kendra's calling for another talk. Perfect, our place, 7 p.m. I'll text the group. He sipped his coffee. You ready to go all in? I flipped the eggs and nodded. Yes, I've got what I need now. The kids came down, grabbing plates and chatting about their day. Mom, can I have extra cheese? My daughter asked, smiling up at me. I added some and kissed her head. Of course, sweetie. Eat up, bus is coming. After they left, waving from the driveway, I sat at the table and pulled out the envelope I'd gotten yesterday from the pawn shop owner, a mutual acquaintance from the neighborhood who'd recognized Kendra from the security. Still I showed him discreetly. Inside was a photocopy of the receipt, dated 2 days after the barbecue, describing a diamond necklace and earrings matching mine exactly, sold by Kendra for cash. It was undeniable with her signature at the bot James. My heart raced as I tucked it away. This was it, the hard proof to shatter her lies. I texted Sarah right after. Meeting tonight. Can you come early for the kids? She replied immediately. On it. You've got the receipt? Yes, I typed back. This ends her games. The afternoon dragged as I prepped the living room, arranging chairs in a circle and keeping my laptop nearby with the footage cued as backup. Liam got home early and helped set out drinks. Keep it factual, he said, squeezing my shoulder. No emotions taking over. I agreed, but inside determination burned steady. Sarah arrived with coloring books for the kids, getting them settled upstairs. Stay strong, she whispered before heading up. Liam's parents showed up first, his mom carrying a bag of snacks. Hope this settles things, she said, hugging me. His dad nodded. We need answers, no more delays. James and Kendra came last, her breezing in with a forced smile. All right, Leora, let's get this over with, Kendra said, sitting down and crossing her legs. Your little witch hunt ends tonight. James sat beside her, looking uncomfortable. I waited till everyone had settled, then started firm but calm. Thanks for coming. Last time, we saw inconsistencies in Kendra's stories, timelines not matching, excuses changing. But there's more, and it ties directly to why we can't move on the assets. Kendra leaned forward, her eyes narrowing. More. You're just dragging this out because you're greedy, hoarding everything while we struggle. Admit it, this is about keeping the cabin and bonds all to yourselves. I met her gaze evenly, not rising to the bait. No, it's about trust. Things aren't lining up, and now I have proof that explains the sudden money. Liam's mom frowned. Proof? Kendra, if there's something… Kendra cut her off with a laugh. Proof? She's bluffing to gaslight me, make me look bad so you all side with her stinginess. James touched her arm. Let her speak, babe. I reached into my bag and pulled out the envelope, sliding the photocopied receipt across the table. This is a pawn shop receipt from 2 days after the barbecue. It describes my exact diamond necklace and earrings, cut, carat, everything matches. Dated right after they went missing and signed by you, Kendra? The room went silent as Liam's dad picked it up first, scanning it. This looks real. Kendra, explain. Her face paled for a split second before she recovered, snatching it from him. This? Fake. She must have forged it to frame me. I never pawned anything. Why would I? Liam leaned in, his voice steady. The shop owner confirmed it. He's known our family for years. Why the lie? Kendra's composure cracked then, her hands crumpling the paper slightly as she tossed it back on the table. Okay, fine, I was there, but not for her stuff. I pawned some old junk of mine. Coincidence on the description. James stared at her. Old junk? You said we had no valuables left after your last clean-out. And the date right after the party. She shifted in her seat, her story changing fast. All right, maybe I found some things. Borrowed them temporarily. I was going to buy them back once things stabilized. We were desperate, bills piling up, James out of work. I didn't steal, I borrowed. Liam's mom gasped. Borrowed without asking? That's theft, Kendra. Kendra's eyes darted around the room, desperation showing as she pleaded with James. You know how broke we were, I did it for us. Fear of losing everything, being abandoned if we couldn't keep up. It wasn't malice, it was survival. His dad shook his head. Survival doesn't justify betraying family. Kendra turned back to me, her voice shaking. You happy now, ruining everything because you're too perfect to understand hardship. But her contradictions piled up, her motives laid bare, fear of poverty driving her to betrayal. No more room for denial as the receipt stared back at us all. The family reacted in waves, James pulling away from her, looking betrayed. You lied to me too? Liam's parents exchanged glances, his mom speaking first. This changes everything. Kendra, you have until James Sorrow to return the value of those diamonds, full repayment, or we're involving authorities. His dad nodded firmly. And no asset transfer, it's off the table permanently. We're siding with Leora, this betrayal can't stand. Kendra stood up, tears welling but anger flashing. You can't do this! After all we've been through? James sighed heavily. We? You did this alone. She grabbed her coat, isolated now, and stormed toward the door. Fine, cut me out, see how that feels. The door slammed behind her, leaving heavy silence in the room. Liam hugged me close. You did it, the truth's out. His parents stood too. We'll handle the repayment demand, James Sorrow. Good night. Sarah came down after they left, the kids asleep upstairs. She shattered, saw it from the stairs. I nodded, heart still pounding. Judgment was coming fast now, her defeat sealed. The morning after that explosive meeting, where Kendra's stories fell apart under the weight of the pawn shop receipt and her own. Contradictions. I woke up to my phone buzzing on the nightstand. It was Liam's mom calling early, her voice steady but firm when I answered. Leora, we talked as a family last night after leaving your place. Kendra's receipt changes everything. We can't ignore it. I sat up in bed, Liam stirring beside me as I put her on speaker. What did you decide? I asked, my heart pounding with a mix of hope and leftover tension from the night before. She sighed. We gave her the ultimatum. Repay the full value of those diamonds by noon today. Or we're cutting ties. No more family support, no invitations, nothing. And the asset transfer is dead. Equal shares stay as Grandpa wanted. Liam nodded at me, whispering, good. I thanked her, hanging up as the kids' voices floated in from the hallway asking about breakfast. Coming, I called back, getting up and heading to the kitchen to start pancakes. The weight on my chest finally lifting a little. By 10, James texted Liam, Kendra's packing some things. She's admitting it now, to me at least. Said she pawned them out of desperation. Thought she could replace them before anyone noticed. Liam showed me the message while flipping pancakes. She's crumbling, he said quietly. I poured syrup on the kids' plates. She deserves what's coming, lying to everyone, spreading those rumors to cover her tracks. My daughter looked up. Who's crumbling, Mom? I smiled and ruffled her hair. Just work stuff, sweetie. Eat up. After they headed to school, I sat with Liam at the table. Think she'll pay? He shrugged. If she wants any chance at staying in the family, yes. Mom's serious about ostracism. We cleaned up in silence, the house feeling lighter already, like the air had cleared after a storm. Around 11, Kendra showed up at our door unannounced, her face puffy from crying, carrying a check in her hand. Liam answered first, but I stepped forward. What do you want? I asked flatly, not inviting her in. She held out the check, her voice shaky. Here, the full amount from the pawn sale plus interest. I cashed out some savings. I'm sorry, Leora. I was scared, bills stacking, James stressed. Felt like we were drowning while you had it all together. Liam took the check and scanned it. This covers it? She nodded quickly. Yes, every penny. Please don't cut me out. I know I betrayed you, but it was a mistake, one desperate act. I crossed my arms. A mistake? You stole from family, spread lies calling me paranoid and stingy, then pushed for our assets to hide it. That's not one act, that's a plan. Kendra's shoulders slumped. I get it, I ruined trust. But for the kids' sake, the family, give me a chance to make it right. James pulled up in the driveway then, getting out of the car. I drove her, he said, walking up. She's owning it now, Leora. No more lies. We stood on the porch, the four of us, as I weighed it. Owning it doesn't erase the pain, the humiliation of thinking I was crazy, the isolation from those rumors. Kendra wiped her eyes. I know. I'll apologize to everyone, step back from decisions. Just don't ban me. Liam looked at me. Your call, you're the one hurt most. I took a deep breath, thinking of the years of favoritism, our struggles while they got bailouts, but also the kids who loved their aunt. Fine, repay and face the family, but stronger boundaries. No more access to our home without invite, no pushing for assets ever again, and therapy for you to deal with that desperation. Kendra nodded eagerly. Anything, thank you. James hugged her. We'll make it work. They left after, the check in my hand feeling like closure. Justice served without total destruction. Liam's parents came over that afternoon to confirm. She dropped off the repayment with us too, for the emotional mess, his mom said, sitting in the living room with tea. We're enforcing the ostracism lightly, limited contact till she proves change. No holidays for a while, his dad added, and the will stays equal, no more talks of uneven splits. I handed them the check copy. She paid me full, it's over. They hugged me tight. You handled this strong, Leora. Proud of you. After they left, Sarah stopped by with coffee. Heard from Liam, she caved. I nodded, sipping mine. Yeah, punished, but not ruined. Family mediation worked, she grinned. You won, assets safe, trust rebuilding. The kids burst in from school, dropping bags. Aunt Sarah, my daughter yelled, hugging her. We all sat talking about their day, the house full of normal chatter again. That evening, Liam and I mediated a quick family call. No Kendra yet, just setting terms. Repayment done, boundaries set, I said. James agreed. She's reflecting, wants to earn back trust. Liam's mom chimed in. We'll monitor, but justice prevails here. The call ended positively, no lingering fights. Later, in bed, Liam held me close. Healed life starts now, stronger us. I smiled in the dark. Yeah, with real security. The next weeks brought peace. Diamonds value back in savings, assets locked equal. Kendra on probation with apologies rolling in via text. She lost her standing, relationship strained, facing social whispers at events she skipped. I thrived, work focused, family closer, boundaries firm. Renewed trust grew among us, supportive relatives stepping up without her manipulation. Justice always wins through smart, steady means, I thought, drifting to sleep. The raw betrayal faded, leaving closure and uplift, proving wrongs right themselves with patience. Have you ever felt that the person who hurt you the most is the one you trusted the most? If you've ever experienced being doubted, blamed, or hurt without being able to speak out, leave a "I" comment or briefly tell your story. No one is judging you here. We're just reminding each other of one thing. The truth may come late, but it always finds a way to be revealed. And if you want more stories like this about justice turning around, remember to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next episode. On screen right now, you'll see 2 new stories I think you'll really enjoy. There are many more waiting for you on the channel, so don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss one. See you in the next story. Until then, take care of yourself and the people you love. With all my love and respect,